Something strange and potentially dangerous happened on the way to Lexington this week. A 29-year-old woman is arrested after Arlington police say she threatened her driver with a machete. We'll have the very latest from police. What's going on at the Jason Russell house? Way more than just gardening. How low does this drill go? 44 flags fly in front of the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church on Mass Ave in memory of those who fell victim to hate. We have an exclusive interview tonight. One bourbon, one scotch, one beer. A toast to a tavern owner with a lot of patience. After 2 years of facing incredible odds, Arlington Heights has a place where everybody will soon know your name. ACMi News starts right now.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered. We're your neighbors, a friend you can turn to, giving you stories that count from people who care. Dedicated, determined, dependable. This is ACMi News.
A 29-year-old Framingham woman faces charges in a bizarre cab ride, which reportedly took place on Saturday, November 13th. Hello, I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm Paul Werlin. Thanks for being with us. The Arlington PD says 29-year-old Brittany Goldberg allegedly refused to pay the cab fare, then pulled a machete on the driver when he asked for the payment. This all took place near 1521 Mass Ave. Police spoke with the cabbie, who said he worked for a Cambridge company and picked up Goldberg near Harvard Square. She was apparently headed to Lexington via Arlington. ACMi News Director Jeff Barn talked to Captain Richard Flynn of the Arlington PD. Captain Flynn picks up the story from there.
Over the course of the weekend, there was a female who got a cab in Harvard Square and was making her way to Lexington. And when she was in Arlington Heights area, she had the cab pull over, the Uber, whatever it was, and tried to kind of get out of there and run. And there was a brief exchange, at which time she allegedly pulled out a long-handled knife, described by some as a machete. Fortunately, there was no injuries to that. She actually got away from the scene, but officers responded quickly, got some information. We were able to locate that party in Lexington, take her into custody without incident.
All right, and so no one was hurt?
No, nobody was hurt. And again, you know, I've been around a little while, Jeff, and I've seen and scratch your head sometimes what happens and why people do what they do. But here, fortunately, nobody got hurt and came to a good conclusion.
I understand the driver got out of the car to create a safe distance between.
He did a good job. And, you know, those situations can be dangerous. You know, they're carrying strangers and, you know, there's quite a bit of, you know, there's quite a bit of mental illness and problems going on in the world today. And so we're lucky that this fortunately worked out the way that it did.
According to authorities, Ms. Goldberg has an extensive police record with 27 entries, including a warrant from Ohio for assault to murder, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, and possession of cocaine. As we told you last week, the Jason Russell house is getting a little yard work done. You may have already seen the fences in Mr. Russell's front yard. Well, we got a quick tour of what was going on inside the fencing. Crews are digging wells for a geothermal heating and cooling system for the property. The $250,000 project is funded by the Community Preservation Act and will help to improve climate inside the historic home. The house is currently not heated nor cooled, and this will help protect the material of the house itself as well as the objects within. It'll also make it more comfortable for tourists visiting over the summer and winter months. 3 to 5 wells will be installed in the drilling area up to a depth of about 400 feet. There will be no above-ground structures. Arlington Historical Society officials have told us this project is set to be complete by sometime in January.
Applications for Arlington's Community Development Block Grant Program are now available to eligible applicants. The Department of Planning and Community Development invites applications for projects such as affordable housing, public facilities, parks, infrastructure, and economic development. The deadline for submitting those applications is January 14th, 2022. And the funding period for this CDBG grant runs from July 1st of next year through June 30th, 2023. If you have any questions regarding the program, you can contact Mallory Sullivan, the Community Development Block Grant Administrator, at 781-316-3094. The LGBTQ+ community in Arlington is promoting a series of events this month to support and engage with area residents and marking the Transgender Day of Remembrance set for November 20th. A day set aside to remember transgender and gender nonconforming people lost to violence. ACMi's news director Jeff Barnes spoke to Andy Rubinson, co-chair of Arlington's LGBTQIA+ Rainbow Commission, and Valerie Overton, president of Lex Pride. Both sadly admit our society has a long way to go.
And this is actually, the Transgender Day of Remembrance is something that's recognized internationally. And the reason that we continue to have it is because we continue to lose members of the transgender community every year. This year it was 44 people who died due to transphobic violence against them. So, you know, every year we try to remember those folks. I would love this to go away because this doesn't continue to happen, but it does. So we want to make sure that we are remembering the lives that we've lost, and also just draw attention to the fact that it is still going on, to give people a sense that, you know, it may seem like we've progressed beyond that, and that you know, it doesn't matter if people are LGBTQ, but it obviously still does to some people, and there is still that hate and intolerance still exists in the world.
I was asking Andy, and I'll weigh in now with you, Valerie, as far as the meeting of Transgender Day of Remembrance, which you have on the 20th of November. But I was asking Andy, why do we need a day set aside like that?
You know, I think that it's only recently that some people have become more aware of the huge disparity in violence against transgender people. And what we have seen historically is that this has been a largely invisible, unreported problem. And we see enormous disparities in violence and fatal violence against transgender people, especially transgender women of color. And so the purpose is really threefold. One is to raise awareness about the fact that this is still going on. And in fact, the numbers of known homicides of transgender people is increasing every year. And we already, even though the year isn't finished, have a record-breaking year of in terms of the number of deaths this year. And second is to really honor and celebrate the lives of the people who've been lost to violence, because so often they are relegated to statistics, you know, this number or that number. And these are human beings who are beloved in their communities. And we really want to lift that up and see and acknowledge and honor the tremendous loss that these lives leave behind. And third is really to raise awareness and understand ways that, you know, everybody, whatever their station in life, can become allies and make the world a safer place, a more inclusive place for everybody, including transgender people.
Activists for years have also been trying to make healthcare more inclusive and equitable, and they're calling on town leaders and state lawmakers to create safer school environments within the LGBTQ+ community.
Arlington's Health and Human Services hosted a first dose COVID-19 vaccination clinic for 5 to 11-year-olds on November 16th. This while Arlington is trending up in positive COVID cases, according to the latest statistics townwide. The vaccine appointments applied only to children who have not already received their first dose of the vaccine. The clinic was held in the Red Gym at the Arlington High School. ACMi's communications manager James Milan talked to Arlington's Health and Human Services Director Christine Bongiorno this week for a vaccination update at the school and other locations townwide.
we were very well aware of the process that was happening at the federal level. Our State Department of Public Health had really given us the heads up that they were going to pre-stage the vaccine and get us up and running as quickly as possible once the vaccine was approved. So what we did here locally was we established a number of clinic dates. We found locations and staff, volunteers, and we were ready to go. We pre-staged clinics in order to be ready to roll out the vaccine immediately once it was approved. We had a clinic, I think it was 3 or 4 days after the approval on a Saturday. I think it was approved on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and we had our clinic on that following Saturday. And we sent the link out the day before to have families register. And unfortunately, or fortunately, our clinic appointments, we had 1,200 appointments. They were gone within, a half an hour, which was great. And we were able to have that clinic. We vaccinated 1,170 children at that clinic. And then we had hoped to do two clinics the following week. Vaccine never arrived, so we ended up having the clinic the following week after that. So we just had a clinic this past Tuesday where we did an additional almost 600 kids. So we've done about 1,800 children that attend school or live here in Arlington, which I think, when we look at our data locally, we're seeing an increase in cases, which we're seeing across the country. But particularly, we're seeing the cases in the youngest population, so the 0 to 19 age group. And so we're hopeful that by vaccinating this age group, we're able to sort of slow that spread down. And once they're fully vaccinated 2 weeks after the second dose, we're really hopeful that those numbers will start to come down a bit.
Meantime, a recent townwide update shows 2,334 cases of COVID-19 in town. That's an increase of 32 COVID cases in recent weeks. Town leaders say deaths remain at 88 and have risen by 1 in the past 6 months. And on Thursday, November 18th, Governor Charlie Baker announced booster shots will be made available to any resident who has had their vaccinations at least 6 months ago. You can see more of Ms. Bongiorno's interview regarding vaccines and Arlington's mask mandate. All you have to do is go to the ACMi website, acmi.tv. As we've been telling you, Arlington leaders wanted to hear from you regarding the Safe Ride to School project at the Stratton Elementary School to improve safety for students, parents, teachers, and school staff members. Construction will be funded by the State Department of Transportation, or Mass DOT, at an estimated cost of nearly $1.1 million. Once completed, you'll see a big difference in the infrastructure surrounding Stratton. We heard from Planning and Community Development Director Jennifer Raitt this week on where things stand now with the Stratton project.
The Stratton Safe Routes to School project also had a meeting where the Massachusetts Department of Transportation staff, through the Safe Routes to School program, presented a little bit of where they're at with the design process, which is about 25% complete at this point. And also explain some of the, sort of impediments that need to be removed to make it more ADA compliant, to potentially install new sidewalks to make for safer routes for children and their caretakers and families walking to school. Ideas about bike routes and paths, as well as pedestrian crossings, potentially narrowing the width of roadways. A lot of different things were discussed. And so at this point in time, what I wanted to share is that everybody is invited to view the project information page.
And on that page, residents' comments were due by Friday, November 19th. For more information on where the project stands, just go to the town website, arlingtonma.gov. Thanks to you, Arlington's Police Relief Association donated nearly $3,500 to the Sanborn Foundation to help that nonprofit in assisting Arlington residents battling cancer. You'll recall, in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, Arlington Police were selling pink Arlington Police Department patches and breast cancer awareness t-shirts to area residents. They also had that pink police cruiser motoring around town. All this to raise money for the Sanborn Foundation, which greatly helps with treatments, transportation, and other expenses for area cancer patients.
It's a local nonprofit, which, like you said, provides some services like transportation and for those struggling with cancer, but kind of specific to here in Arlington. And it's unique. It's a blessing to be able to have that kind of an organization in the community. And they've actually helped several of our officers who either themselves or family have been struggling with this disease. So no better time than Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So Police Department, in conjunction with the Relief Association here, we purchased some hats, we purchased some patches, and some t-shirts. Our officers wore the hats. They were allowed to wear those hats during the month with the pink patch. And we sold some t-shirts. I think we sold out of the t-shirts in about a week. And then we sold some patches as well. And we were blessed to, on November 10th, we met with Lori August. She's the board of directors from the Sanborn Foundation. We were lucky to give them a check for a little over $3,400 from the police department. So it was very nice. And we hope to do those things in the future.
Congratulations to Arlington's PD and everyone who helped make this Compassionate October campaign a major success.
Are you familiar with the term gaslighting? It comes from a classic mystery thriller in which the tension builds into some of the most suspenseful sequences in the modern theater. Here now to give us a preview is our ACMi news correspondent, Anim Osmani.
Hey Arlington, how many theater performances have you seen over the past several months? The correct and only answer is not enough, given the fact that the pandemic has shut down many theater productions throughout the year. But Arlington Friends of the Drama is returning to the stage a second time since the start of the pandemic for a captivating psychological thriller.
There's great anticipation for this play. It's a great play, and it's been around. It's a classic.
We're excited about the show. We're excited to have the audience back. We had a lot of people coming for our first show, which was really encouraging to us because the audiences were back and they were thrilled to be back, and it was great to see them.
Angel Street is an adaptation of the play and the 1944 film classic Gaslight. The play and the movie coined the term gaslighting in the 20th century. Gaslighting is when somebody tries to convince someone else that something that is evidently true, not true. Angel Street follows a married couple in Victorian-era England when and where a husband drives his wife to the brink of insanity by distorting what's real, true, and what's not, with a plethora of surprises in between. Mary Human, one of 3 production managers and one of many on the playwright committee, chose this play in particular to reflect on the time of misinformation we are living in today and how well the play can bring that message to life.
I think there's a lot of misinformation around, which is no surprise to anybody, that you have people believing one thing and people believing another, depending on where they get their information. And how does that occur? And how does someone get convinced that something isn't true, even though when they can see right in front of them what is true? And this play explores it, and that's why it's been popular and done over and over since 1945 when it was first produced.
The set was a long time in the making with still a lot more to go, but all worth it for the crew who is bringing an 1890 English home to an Arlington stage.
2 parts are done, and we have about 300 more to go. It's great. The more that we can get back to, the better. I can't wait to do more. This set is an amazing set. I can't wait to see it fleshed out, literally, with people.
Come see it. It's delightful, delightful play, but it's a melodrama, and there's some sadness to it too. But I think they would enjoy it. The people who the story would be new for, as well as those that have seen it in the past in other genres.
Angel Street hits the stage on December 3rd and will run for 3 consecutive weekends throughout the month of December. Tickets are selling at $25 and can be purchased on afdtheater.org. That's theater with an R-E. For ACMi News, I'm Anim Osmani.
The 11th Annual Arlington International Film Festival is now one for the history books. And this year's event made history in terms of raw artistic talent and worldwide audience feedback. Films from Mexico City to Nigeria were virtually screened at this year's festival. Alberto Guzman and April Rank are the AIFF founders. Ms. Rank tells Jeff Barn that this year's event, although virtual, was an overwhelming success.
It's not what we do. It's these amazing filmmakers that indie filmmakers that apply. Our best of festival this year was I'm an Electric Lampshade by a retired accountant that had never made films, and his passion was to do music.
Doug was your typical accountant that you would expect to see when you walk into a company for the first time.
Oh, I've been in this office for 18 years, but it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I would think over the course of maybe 15 years, it took us to really get Doug to let his hair down. And when he did, it was really letting his hair down.
And it ended up being music video in a concert in Mexico City. That was so inspiring because I'm at the age of retirement too, and I think it's just a really great reminder that we can all follow a passion, and it can be hugely divergent from what we've been doing. I kind of consider that the film festival is that for us.
You must be very proud at this particular point now that you have an Audience Choice Award. And apparently you received a lot of feedback on your website on who everyone seemed to like.
Yes, it was close running between two films. The winner of the film was Enough, Lebanon's Darkest Hour, by Daisy Gedden.
Who the hell is responsible?
I still can't get the images out of my head. The explosion took me reeling back to the days of civil war.
At the end of the war, the warlords were given promises of public money.
We have the same politicians, the same ones killed. They're still here, which is like, what?
You have so much vested interests in the system, which led us to this very tragic situation.
And she is an exile living in Australia and very, very empathetic with what's going on in Lebanon and really encouraging people to get out there and vote in the 2022 election because there is such apathy over the years with the corruption, the embedded corruption. So we had over 10,000 votes on that film.
You must be very proud to have that much feedback all over the globe. And are you going to rest up, or are you already getting ready for the 12?
We're getting ready for the next year, and we're so excited. And really, unless there is a major change, we're going to be live at the Capitol on November 3rd through the 6th, 2022.
April tells us that beginning January 2022, there will be monthly virtual screenings of one film per month through September 2022. So if you missed out on this year's festival, you have a chance to see these marvelous films from all over the planet.
In the spirit of a much-loved community event, Arlington Center for the Arts presented Arlington Porch Fest stage on the front steps of Arlington Town's Hall on Saturday, November 13th. Inside Town Hall, the ACA staged its Open Studio event. ACMi was proud to cover all the festivities. Here now are sights and sounds from the November 13th affair, and our salute to the fine work ACA does in this community. A lot of artisans, bands, video, and most importantly, pizza for the ACMi crew members. A great time was had by all. Can you really have too much pizza? We think not. That'll do it for ACMi News this week. I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm Paul Werlin. Thanks so much for joining us. Next week, we'll have a special ACMi newscast as News Director Jeff Barn interviews former Secret Service member Clint Hill. Mr. Hill was the only Secret Service agent who ran to the presidential limousine after shots rang out on that fateful day in Dallas, November 22nd, 1963.
Nearly 60 years after that dark and pivotal flashpoint in our history, Mr. Hill reflects back on that day in Texas and how it changed his life forever. We hope you will join us. Good night.
Stay safe.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.